Oh yet, defend me, friends, I am but hurt.
Oh, I die, Horatio. This poison quite overcrows my spirit. But I do I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. So tell him, with these occurrence, more and less, that which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Where is Septimus?
Wake up.
Where are we?
Silence! Follow me.
Okay.
Silence! With the wig. You may be wondering why I've gathered you here. I, Death, have written a play. A veritable masterpiece. And you, yes, each and every one of you, are the best actors for my roles. I have assigned you each a role. Here is what you need to do. It starts with Miss Havisham, living her best life in London. She's happy and in love with this total dreamboat of a man. In fact, she's so happy that she decides to build the Sadist house to commemorate their love. They're going to have a brewery and everything, and live happily ever after. But just kidding. Dreamboat Man is a terrible person, a beast of a person. One night, he runs away from Miss Havisham and takes her money and her heart with him. Heartbreak. For 12 long years, Miss Havisham is super sad. She wreathes in misery. Her agony haunts her. She sets all clocks to the same hour. And then, something happens. Hamlet comes.
You know what? I approve of the whole sulking for 12 years thing, but I'd rather not Hamlet come in and save me. I'd rather sit alone sulking until I die, or do something dramatic like stay in my wedding dress all day and set my clocks to the time when Boat Boy left me.
Your opinion is very respectable, Miss Havisham. Indeed it is so. You know how they say in Romania, anguish isn't necessary to success. One must fester in it from time to time. One must sulk. But, hear me out here, this Hamlet is a fine fellow. I'm quite good friends with him myself. He always welcomes me when he is alone. He is, indeed, such a fine fellow. He is the peach of the apple tree. He is such a beauty. His disposition is so antic. No other disposition is as antic as his antic disposition is antic. But, and if he comes, he is so beautiful. Perhaps he can fall in love with you. Or even better yet, you can get one of your beautiful daughters to marry him. To marry him and break his heart. That way, you can exact revenge. No man will ever... Oh, frailty, thy name is man. No man will ever dare cross you again. You will exact your revenge on every man through such a scheme.
Very good point. Keep going. I'm interested.
So Hamlet comes in from Denmark because he's heard about how sad Miss Havisham is, and he, in fact, also knows the beast that broke her heart.
The beast broke my heart.
Does this beast happen to have star-spangled pantaloons?
Yes.
In fact, not only does he know him, but his life mission is to kill the beast. Thus, he tells her he will get rid of her misery by killing her and avenging the beast.
I will kill you and avenge the beast.
No. By killing the beast and avenging her.
Ah, okay. I will kill the beast to avenge you.
And what about my daughter?
Yes, right, totally. So, when he comes to visit Sadis, Miss Havisham introduces him to her lovely daughter, Thomasina.
This is my daughter, Thomasina.
Wait, but I don't really like Hamlet. I prefer someone more scholarly, able to waltz, who likes tortoises. No offense, Hamlet, but you don't really meet those requirements.
As they say in Italy, exactly schmexactly. When Hamlet sees Thomasina, he is entranced by her beauty. But Thomasina is too busy with her algorithms to give him the time of day.
Hey, Thomasina, what time is it?
It's time for you to go away.
Thomasina, do you have a Band-Aid?
No, why?
Because I scraped my knee falling for you. Hey, Thomasina, you want to know what a carnal embrace is?
I already know what it is. It's the practice of throwing one's arms around a side of beef. Now, will you leave me alone?
So does he break? Does he love her, love her, love her?
Yes, chill. I got this down. What's more, he goes a little crazy with affection for her. Or perhaps it's just an antic disposition to get her to notice him.
God has given you one face and you make yourself another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'll no more on it! It hath made me mad!
That doesn't seem very smart.
I don't know. Seems kind of logical to me. I could see myself doing something like that. How the elegant dove becomes a filthy pigeon, besmirched by the smoke spewed above the brothel house, the harlot within, her tears of joy, while the rage of man cannot be contained, but in this atmosphere in which we dwell, and in our misery and filth. Oh, how I ache of this world! I might just make my own quietus with this bare bodkin. But no! It is not worth it, for I am mad. I am madness maddened. From hate heart I spit at thee. Thought be gone!
The next day, after meeting Thomasina and a long sleepless night, he goes to hunt down the beast. He finds the beast in his den, his Denmark castle.
The beast is from Denmark?
Yup, the beast is Claudius. Your uncle!
It is I, the beast.
That incestuate, that adulterous beast!
Yeah, you got the right idea. So Hamlet goes to Claudius. And since he's a young Simba in the apex of his physical health, he's able to kill the adulterous, incestuous murderer.
Whom didst thouest?
Yay!
But he's still a little crazy, so rather than stabbing Claudius, he rips off his arm.
I has lost the limb.
Wait, what?
How dramatic. I approve. Serves the beast right for tearing out my heart like that.
Well, I mean, whatever gets the job done, right?
Like the filthy swine and snail that he is, Claudius slinks back to his Denmark castle, but ends up bleeding to death anyway. Hamlet, still a little antically inclined, hangs his dismembered arm from the ceiling in celebration.
I love it. The power of broken love.
Everyone rejoices, but then, that night, Merceau comes and kidnaps Thomasina.
Why am I involved in this?
Claudius asks you, just before he dies, if you think kidnapping Thomasina would punish Hamlet and Miss Havisham for what they've done. You agree that that would punish them all right. He then asks you if you'd mind doing it, and you say no.
Well, alright.
Glad that's settled. So, Merceau kidnaps Thomasina and brings her to his apartment, but Hamlet comes to rescue her in the nick of time.
Stop it! This is a little unrealistic. I'm too proactive in this play. I would have to brood about saving Thomasina's life for about 4 months before actually doing it. For what is a snail to a fence, a bear to a tree, when one considers the river flowing red with the blood of our ancestors, the fiery embers of our heritage up in smoke, like the mist of a morning lake. That is to say, that we are not but stardust.
Semantics. As they say in China, potato, potato. Hamlet brings back Thomasina, and all is well. But Hamlet is a man of responsibilities, and moves back to Denmark to rule faithfully there. Hamlet returns to the sadist's house to see Thomasina years later, because his undying love has not extinguished. He has loved her long and dearly. But as he approaches Sadis, as if a fire-breathing dragon exhaled on the house, the entire house bursts into flames. Thomasina and Miss Havisham still inside.
No!
Are you serious? Again?
Yes, it was Miss Havisham's dress that got caught in the fire. Hamlet rushes inside to try and fight the fire, but it's no use. They all perish. Thus, when the embers of generations are consumed with that which they were nourished by, we must ask, what rough beast slouches towards Bethlehem to be born? When the yellow pine drops upon the red fir, when the supplication of a dead man's hand drips purple blood, when the banana is to the peach what the apple what once was to the bear, and when our words make not sense but feel, we must think with our feels and feel with our thoughts. The feet become the hands, and the hammer becomes the wrench. No, not the wrench. The hammer becomes the pencil with which we express our actions, with which we act upon desires, like the strawberry, like the hot potato, cooled with the essence of the polar bears walking among the tropical forest. Thus, our play concludes. What do you guys think?
I am so proactive in this play. I love it. To be or not to be, I don't even have to question it anymore. I am so into being right now. It's amazing.
There is an appropriate amount of heartbreak and broken men. I suppose I will participate.
I don't really like this play. I'm more of a plot device than a real person. Has no one else thought of this?
I also agree. I wouldn't like being the beast. I wouldn't like being in such a wretched state. Can we not make my bosom as black as the deathly sea burnt upon the ashes of her past?
I think he's okay.
Bah! Your petty quibblery means nothing to me. You have all been killed for this purpose. The terms are non-negotiable. You can either stay here, or else the Almighty shall send you down to dwell in bottomless perdition. Or perhaps purgatory. Claudius? Well, our performances shall begin soon. I have waited a long time to debut this. It shall be excellent.
Well, we don't really have a choice, do we? What exactly are you going to call this play?
I think I'll name it...
The trepidations of woe once again circumvent sorrow. And this world, unbeknownst to man, is consumed by the rage of love. For what is love but the absence of chaos, and chaos but the absence of those demons that dwell deep within our hearts? I must ask you, my friend, what is our life's purpose? Were it not for the existence of misery.
When the cock crows 3 times before noon, and the pickled jar becomes unopenable, we must unleash the knife. We must poke the pickled jar, and we must break it open with our teeth. Thus, it is in the simplest nature of man that when the guitar no longer sings jolly songs, we must look upon the grass. We must look upon the chaos and merge it with the order. For what is the egg which is hatched by the cow? What is the steak which is made by the rose? And what is the prickly pear when it pokes us not upon our daily adventures? What is the cock that crows throughout the evening? We must ask. We must ask. We must ask the seas. We must ask the universe. We must ask the bush. Where have our fellow humans gone? Where have the love, the absence of chaos? Where are the Egyptian gods that once created the Sphinx, the pyramid, but yet so low, but yet the apex of the human foundation. So now, my friend, I ask you, why has the beard not been shaven?
'Tis simply so, for the Egyptian god Ra has not smiled upon us for generations. The ashes in the stream, which once nourished our very bones, has disappeared into purgatory hell. For our sins are never overcome truly by the ways in which we deceive ourselves of goodness. No, my friend, we are not but demons. Demons in disguise.
When the onion peels its layers, we must not cry. We must open the cold water tap and thus be relented. We must put the ice cubes in the drink, for such is our peril, to battle the cold with the sun and battle the hot with the ocean. But yet, the ocean is salt. What do we see in the salt? We see that the minerals, the magnetic poles, have beat the gold to an airy thinness, which must only be pierced by the spears of the Romans. Ah, thus Sparta was overthrown. The proletariat now suffers, much like the Anglo-Saxons did in their era. We must seek unity. The 2,000-year cycle of society has united. It has closed, but yet the circle is a torus. The torus has a hole, and it is but a piercing to the ear. And thus, when I look at the trepidation of the spheres, I see not the smoky chimney. I see not the hazy lantern, nor do I see the clouded judgment that once was the Bible. Now, my friend, I turn to you. When the plane has crashed into the very factory where it was made, please tell me.
The sweat upon thy very brow has confused me much. But it is time to leave these questions to the lauded peasant.
Beowulf.
But why are we calling it Beowulf? There is no Beowulf. There's no reference to Beowulf. There doesn't
Shut up, foul wench! This play shall be legendary. The albatross shall carry it on its wings across the eons. The last drop of the dead man's blood shall be embedded with this play's name, and he shall be called Beowulf. But just kidding. Wait, hold on. She loved him against reason, against promise, against...
Wait, this is...
How often the yellow banana becomes a rotten apple, forcing the maiden to swallow it whole. Sure. For 12 long years, she suffers in misery. Dreams of Mr. Dreamboat Man haunt her every existence. Haunt her every... Not only does he know him, but his life mission is to kill the beast. Thus, he tells her that on his heart, he will get rid of her misery by killing the beast and avenging her.
I hate that guy too. I want to kill him really bad.
Yeah, let's get Hamlet's soliloquy in here.
Hamlet's soliloquy.
We need the creativity room.
This is a little unrealistic. I am too proactive in this play. I would have to brood about saving Thomasina for about 4 months at least. For what is the snail to a tree?
Yeah, this is what we need. We need more of this.
This is a little unrealistic. I'm too proactive in this play. I would have to deliberate around 4 months and brood over whether I should save Thomasina. For what is a snail to a tree? A ball to a fence, when one takes into consideration the river running red. I didn't know you did
It's so good.
For what is a snail to a tree? A bear to a fence, when one considers the river running red with the blood of our ancestors. Tom, I was about the fiery embers that emits from the For what is a snail to a tree, a ball to a fence, when one thinks about the red river running with the seamed bed of a festered stew, when...
Ah, but who would not be interested in exacting their revenge on all men? What?
Oh, wait, hold up. I thought this was a yes okay thing.
Yeah, I think this
It is the yes okay thing.
Yes, okay.
Ah, but...
Yes, okay.
Okay, wait. Ah, but who would not be interested in exacting their revenge on all men? So, consider this story. One time, Hamlet is fishing. He takes out fish in the pond. But indeed, it is not a fish. It is Miss Havisham. And thus they meet.
Okay,
After a brief
blooper reel one.
Yo, let me tell the story. I've been cooking up this story for like the last 3 minutes.
Chill, bro. AP lit.
It's like the same thing, but like the plot points are the same.
Beowulf?
No. Ah, but who would not be interested in exacting their revenge on all men? Now, let me continue. One day, Hamlet stands on a hill in Tintern Abbey. He contemplates his existence and grabs a rock, the biggest rock he can find, and throws it high in the sky and yells, "Oh Lord, why must it be so? Why these pangs of jealousy?" Yet, in a split second after, he notices a thump, and turns out that his rock hit a woman. That woman was Miss Havisham. Thus they meet, and after a brief cup of coffee, they discover that they have an enemy in common. Now, not only is the man who ran away from Miss Havisham, not only does Hamlet know this man, but Hamlet dreams about this man. Not in such a way, but in the negative way. He wants to kill him. It is his life mission to kill this man. And thus, he makes a promise. He makes a promise that on his honor, he will kill the beast and avenge Miss Havisham. Oh, fair white maiden.
Okay.
I don't understand. So it's cut me off.
Okay.
Why are we calling it Beowulf? We never referenced Beowulf in the play. Who even?
Silence, foul wench!
And
Wait, I thought that's all I had to say.